At Kamiti Juvenile Prison in Kenya, young boys of between 14 and 18 turn to God in praise and worship as they receive staff of the African Jesuit AIDS Network who have accompanied catechists from the Catholic Chaplaincy in Nairobi on a typical visit to the facility. The boys are in remand awaiting trial for various crimes they have been accused of. This is the daily work of catechists to keep prisoners in close touch. In June 2021, AJAN carried out a training of trainers for prison chaplains who are catechists in the Nairobi region. This was under the AJAN HIV and AIDS Prevention Program for Youth. The chaplaincy is in a continuing partnership with AJAN to empower their officers with skills to enable prisoners to cope with their situations and prepare them for life after prison.
I'm so grateful for the program we had for the 3 days. We learned so many things about the problems in this world, the reality that we are facing in this world, and we learned how to change our community. We learn how to change ourselves, because change starts from me, and therefore from there now we can be able to say we have seen what is good for ourselves and what is good for our community.
It has helped me in so many ways, like understanding the youth, how to go about in their life and how to help them grow as integrally, the whole person, how to make him understand that life, it's all about making decisions, wise decisions, and being able to live in peace.
I've been coordinating the AJAN training for our catechists based in Nairobi, comprising all the prisons within Nairobi area, to equip our catechists and chaplains with skills to handle inmates, to handle the youth, staff and our families, especially in areas of HIV/AIDS, drugs and general balanced life in the prisons fraternity.
Chaplains will ordinarily be found at various correctional facilities, including Kenya Prisons Training College, Lang'ata Maximum Women's Prison, Kamiti Command, Nairobi Remand, Allocation Maximum Prison, Nairobi West, and Kiambu Prisons. On the 8th of July 2021, the AJAN Secretariat organized a panel discussion which brought together prison chaplains, the AJAN Secretariat, a prison warden, and 2 prisoners. Held at the precincts of the Kamiti Medium Prison in Nairobi, we examined the dynamics of accompanying prisoners in their journey of incarceration.
We are preparing young people for a society that they have to face, a society that have their own image of the young people. So what happens with the AHAPPY is, when we are preparing the people, it's how to face that society as people first, right? And to face the society, they need now to have come from a point of self-realization, self-acceptance, or as a human person who has a lot to contribute. So our responsibility as agents of change is to enable this person. We want to take back the person to the original sense of who that person was. Recognize that himself as a creature of God with all that it has, like any other person. So I think that is where we start off ourselves as talking about a happy generation, a happy person, creating somebody who can be able to wage a society. So that is on the point of the youth, and I think also on the point of ourselves, it really makes us question our role. One, in a community of prison like this, we are officers and pastoral agents at the same time, is to look again into the situation of prison and say, what are the aspects that we may need to speak to? Because we could be agents, for example. Let me give an example. Could it be that our situation could be an agent of discrimination, for example, because we are HIV positive? Could we have biases? Do we have some challenges within this environment that contribute to the deformation of the young person or deformation of somebody who is in prison. That somebody comes and goes out worse than he came. Could we be contributing to those elements of that elements that make that person even worse than he came? And we as pastoral agents, can we speak to that? Can we also transform that situation?
The work you are doing is really completing the government's work. The government is there to make sure that the society is protected.
Dr. Munyao, a surgeon who worked at Kenyatta National Hospital, is in prison for being found in possession of a stolen phone.
I'm a former employee at Kenyatta National Hospital, where I was working there for almost 25 years. In fact, I'm in prison in a possession of stolen phone. A stolen phone. Now I'm 65 years old, and I was arrested when I was 50 years old, so I'm 15 years in imprisonment.
Mwangi Derito is in prison for robbery with violence.
Okay, my name is David Derito Mwangi. The offense is robbery with violence.
Besides coordinating the efforts of Jesuits in the fight against HIV in Africa, AJAN partners with the church in reaching out to the vulnerable in society. It goes without saying that a human being confined to isolation and detached from family and friends suffers an emotional ordeal. For starters, it is not easy adjusting to their new environment, which means a significant shift in their manner of life. Many undergo depression, with others taking their own lives during or after prison. Other members of society will mete out stigma to a prisoner, which further adds weight to the challenges the latter face. It is in anticipation of these problems that the Catholic Church maintains a powerful presence in the prisons, where catechists daily accompany prisoners, helping them address their spiritual and even material needs. Bearing in mind the disappointment and in many cases anger that a prisoner will have about themselves, others, or even God, we ask Father Kimani how it is possible to have reconciliation happen.
That are not yet come and preach about more so-called happiness, but preach about hope. That despite the fact that they are in prison, they still need to have a lot of hope. And therefore, for the lifers, for those who are condemned today, we give them messages of hope and messages that give them that there is a future. This is not the end of life. It is only a momentous time to be in prison. Our programs, first of all, they are based on our initial training as catechists and as chaplains. Because the catechists that we have working in prisons, they undergo professional catechists training in catechetical colleges, like St. Augustine, Bikira Medical Center, and others who are ex-NAs who have gone to the seminaries, and therefore the basics for catechism and for theology and for counseling. And once they come into the prisons, they are recruited or they come as officers and then they go for the training. They use that knowledge to teach, to train, to form, and at the same time to inform the inmates. And in the process, then they are able to convert them, those who have not been converted, to catechize those who have fallen away from the faith, and to strengthen those who are already in the faith and they still want to know more. And therefore, the programs that we have are basically based on what the catechists are trained on the college. In terms of counseling, they have counseling skills, they have organized counseling sessions, individual and group counseling. They do the teaching of the faith, sacraments, and preparing for the sacraments and all these other things. They do even trauma counseling.
I work at my girls' hostel institution. It's a girls' prison. They're aged between 18 to 18 years, and they are committed for 2 years. And these are very young girls. Most of them have come from unconventional families, so they have issues with the parents, and others have committed a lot of crimes in the community, so most of them are rejected. And we also have cases where girls come from parents who have abused them, So we have very little girls. And also we have some girls who have committed a lot of crimes and the parents have rejected them. So we have to go back and integrate them with the family, because the community comes them as people who are bad. That's why we take our time and go back and integrate them with the community, so that we'll be able to fit back when they are coming there.
That we will be deploying the money as they come to work and read the word of God and everything so that they start to work. We also enter into the offices, we provide to the officers and our heads in different sections before they start to work. Those who have the image, that is because the ones who are dedicated to that is the time the image will be laid outside. So when you come to their works, this will be a
Chaplaincy is providing an opportunity to both the inmates and the staff and their families to live a more fulfilling life. The chaplaincy becomes a meeting point of these two groups. So when you look at it from that angle, you find that chaplaincy and chaplaincy staff are at the middle of activities that we carry on in our prisons day in, day out. So with that in mind, I always view prison and chaplaincy work from an angle that as a catechist, I'm there to provide very vital services to these two groups of people, very different apart. One is incarcerated, the other one is free, and I'm administering rehabilitation.
AHAPPY program is a value-based approach methodology to character formation of the young person. So the idea is, how do we focus, how do we support the young people to be able to gain the skills to negotiate their life situations daily. So the aim of this AHAPPY program is for us to realize or to see a well-rounded African youth living to the best of his potentials for his development and for the development of others and his own continent. So we come to the youth and people in prison who also negotiate their own realities in conflict with law, in conflict with themselves, and in conflict with the society. But they remain, again, young people who have so much to contribute to their lives and to the lives of others.
I would call it is a program that is geared towards reformating the software of the human person, particularly our youth and our prisoners, and even ourselves. That we have a software that needs to be re-energized and to be redeveloped and to be rebuilt.
If you have to pray together with a prisoner, at first he must be settled. So the challenges come in. You are there, you have met a group of prisoners, either you are to take a catechesis program, but before even the catechesis begin, now the prisoners, their hands are up. Mwalimu, you know, I'm very disturbed. Now, you will not continue with the catechesis, you have to listen and address the issue at hand. What is it? My family back there, maybe I've lost my wife, or my children have been in school, they have passed exams, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a kid who is joining Form 4, and I have 2 kids who are joining Form 1. Then you are like, now we have to handle this, we have to talk about it.
I sought to find out from the prisoners and warden their thoughts about the COVID-19 pandemic.
I always make sure I wash my hands frequently. In most cases when I am in the public, I usually wear my mask. So you will never get me without this mask.
Me, I was among the group of afflicting of COVID-19. I came from main prison on 29th day of September 2020. In fact, when I came, we were together with the people from Leaders area, and I was put in here in quarantine for 3 months.
In this institution, I found as if there were no big challenges pertaining the issue, because they refrained from getting more prisoners from outside the prison. Those transferring prisoners from other stations, they stopped for a period of time, and many activities ceased from then, because you may find there are very few officers working in the prison, because security had to be maintained. That is the first thing. So they were trying to deploy officers who mostly were living in this institution, but they could not allow other officers who are living outside to be in prison. That were the measures which were put in place, and many more.
Actually, what I can say is life is very hard in prison, because like me, at age of 65 years, COVID-19 is a constitutionality disease, not a terminal disease. So it can affect somebody with diabetes, and it is very easy for somebody like me, I'm infected with high blood pressure. So life in prison, it is very hard, unless we put God first. Even before we are given medicine, we give God first before anything else.
Father Ismail offered a word of encouragement to the chaplains as Father Peter called on the support of the society and well wishes to make the work the chaplains are doing stronger and easier.
You are doing a very, very important work, and it's very sensitive, challenging. It needs spiritual prayer. If you neglect that, then we will miss our talent. So thank you very much. Let it be known to the whole world that the chaplains are not working. All these people that you see here working, the prisoners and the staff, we cannot do it alone. And we need now support, like what AJAN is doing. We need society out there, we need the church out there, because these men and women who come into the prisons, they are come from society, they stay with us for time and then they go back. And we don't put a full stop to the society. Now that these guys are coming, we still continue to hope that these people go back. So the churches, the organizations, the families, the relatives, NGOs, whatever group that has got can collaborate with the prisons department, with the chaplaincy. I think it will be very good that we continue to support one another.
Walking with the excluded and journeying with the youth, even in prison, showing the way to God, are three of current universal apostolic preferences that the Society of Jesus through AJAN is actualizing through its work in Africa. With 2021 being the year when Jesuits and collaborators are celebrating the 500th anniversary of the beginning of the journey of transformation for St. Ignatius of Loyola, the venerated priest and theologian who founded the Society of Jesus, Jesuit Father Ismail Matambura sought to look at prison life as a probable opportunity for one to start the journey of a new life.
He was wounded on the battlefield, and from there, when he was doing his convalescence, being moment, that's when he started thinking of other ways of living his life and serving and doing great things in the world. And he, through some readings of the life of Christ and some sense, he found that it was also possible to do great things for God.
Baba, tunaendelea kumaliza mjadala wetu wa maombi. Mahali popote wanaenda kutembelea wapee salama zako na wabariki. Tunaomba hao tukisema, Bwana tunakuomba usikie. Bwana awe nanyi. Tubariki Mungu Mwenyezi, Baba, Mwana na